and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Alright guys, welcome to the show. I'm a Lone Ranger today at the SLO Comedy Festival. Is it called SLO?
SLO, S-L-O, for San Luis Obispo.
Yeah, but SLO is spelled S-L-O-Y, or W. W.
It's early, you guys.
Yeah,
it's
it is
early.
early.
We just woke up. We're comics. It's noon, so...
And we're not just comics, you're also my manager.
I am your manager, and I'm happy to be your manager.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I get a feeling like I'm your worst client.
No. Actually, let me explain this. And so, I'm Dante.
Oh, I forgot to say, this is Dante, the guest.
I'm Dante.
I was going to give you like a great introduction.
It's all right. Who cares?
Everyone cares.
That's all right. Well, what's my introduction?
Your introduction is you've seen him on Last Comic Standing, Comedy Central, and BET.
Yeah.
Where you had your own sitcom.
I did, yeah. And I'm white.
And you're white, which is very impressive.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dante!
And I am a manager.
And that, well, I was going to bring that up.
All right, so I do manage you. I
Yes.
own Golden Artist Entertainment. I manage about 80 people, including some pretty big celebrities and comedians that most people would know.
Who are some examples?
Stuttering John Melendez from the Tonight Show. I have Raquel Pomplun, who was the Playmate of the Year. Ron Jeremy. On and on and on and on.
And notice how Keith Reza was not in that top 3.
You're here.
Yeah, but I was just saying.
So why you would think you're a bad client is because you don't get a lot of the acting work, possibly. Right. But I'm not as concerned about your acting work as I am with your stand-up. I think you have a really, really great, unique perspective on life. I think that your act is unique. I think you're really funny, and you're a great, great networker.
Yeah.
I mean, you have your own podcast. You know every celebrity. You have real potential to be a star, so I don't need you to go...
The power of autism.
Yeah. Thank God you have the autism.
Yeah, because if I didn't have autism, I don't think half these stars would be nice to me. Like,
you think that?
I think, like...
Do you want to know I disagree? Oh, someone's here.
Oh, it's housekeeping? Open the door.
Oh, no, thank you.
We're good. Thank you.
Was...
for the folks at home, that was the maid.
Yeah, we're in a hotel room, you guys. We just made love. We did not make love. So
we were talking how, like, I feel like a lot of people... I think part of my charm is because I'm very quiet, and once you get to know me, I'm like, everyone loves me. But
of course.
I feel like at first... When people meet me, people think I'm the biggest douchebag in the world.
No, I think here's the problem. With Asperger's, my brother-in-law has it, and he's always asking the same questions and saying the same things.
He goes to the club a lot.
Yeah, you know him, Jonathan. Yeah. Right. And he asks sort of the same things, you know, where he thinks people think he's standoffish and that, and we don't. It's just the opposite. We just think you're, you know, quiet or in your own head. Most comics are, so you're overthinking it. Most comics aren't sitting there chatting with each other in a comedy room. We're watching the show and thinking about what we're going to do. And no, man, everyone loves you. And I'm going to have to disagree that they do it because you're on the spectrum. I think they do it because you're a nice guy who's also really talented, and then they look at all the people who you're already friends with and go, how could I go wrong?
Oh, well, that makes me feel a lot better.
And I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That honestly does make me feel, because one of the things that I do actually like about you managing me is you're also a comic, so you understand the struggle.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I end up on the phone all the time booking celebrities that I don't even manage, like trying to get, you know, because I book comedy clubs and casinos, you know, our company gets paid to book them, and so we hire people that aren't even with our company, giant stars, and I'll be on the phone with CAA.
What are some of the giant stars
that we book?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. We have, I can't say it yet, but we have a giant couple of stars going to be at our festivals this year.
You notice how he does not say Keith Reza.
That's twice you got me. That's twice. All right. So anyway, you were so distracting. Listen. So I call these agents and stuff, and it's so funny because they are so overpriced when they tell you like what these guys cost, and they don't even know about the road. They're 25-year-old agent assistants, and they're like, oh yeah, this guy's 25 grand. I'm like, he's my friend. I know he makes 5 grand at the most on the road. I don't know how you're trying to get him 20 grand.
I'm the same way. Like I book I don't know if I told you this, but I book a comedy club in Huntington Beach. I co-book it. and I booked Jamie Kennedy, but the problem is...
I know which club you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't say the club.
I understand.
But I booked Jamie Kennedy, and I wanted to get a job to open for Jamie, so that's why I booked him. But the problem is when you book clubs, you can't put yourself on the show. The headliner has to book you for your talent to bring you in because you booked them. So that's why I didn't get that job. But Jamie would have loved me. And I remember when I booked him, his agent's like, "Oh, he's $50,000." I was like,
I love Jamie, but I don't think he's 50,000.
I was like, I'm not booking Chappelle. You know what I mean?
Chappelle might be, right?
Yeah. But so I was like,
and we're talking like one night at one club in where?
It was
in LA area, right?
Yeah, it was a weekend.
No one gets paid unless you're at some stadium or somewhere or the Palladium. You're not getting paid more than like $200 in LA.
Yeah. It was a weekend, so I was like, you know what? I could offer him 70% of the door. Yeah,
that's not bad.
And then he's like, all right, we'll take it. And I was like,
nothing wrong with that.
So, but I was wondering if I didn't have like business sense, and I just had the money, I'd be like, all right, let's do it.
Right, of course. I mean? Thank God you are a smart comic. See, the part that I also like about you is that you know that it's show business. Yeah. It's not just show. Most comics show up and they think it's just about telling jokes on stage. And it's not, because I don't need to hire the funniest. I need to hire the one that sells the most tickets.
Right.
That's not always the funniest.
That's true.
You saw shows last night, and we're at a festival right now, and I went on a show last night with 10 headliners. And if I name them right now, I hate to say it, I know them all by name, and so do you.
Right.
But people listening would go, I don't know who they are. And they're some of the funniest human beings on the planet. So being funny doesn't always necessarily equate to famous.
And see, I think that's very sad.
It is.
For comedy.
I agree.
Because it's like, it doesn't matter how many, in my opinion, as a comic, it doesn't matter how many fans you have, it's about how funny you are. But then on the flip side, you gotta sell to get an audience.
Both.
You know what I mean?
You want to be funny for you. You are the artist. You are the director, producer, and actor.
Right.
But you have to remember, the comedy club doesn't give a shit about your show.
Right.
They want asses in seats and drinks sold, and you better be funny, because that's what they're paying for. They don't want you to be not funny.
Right.
But they don't care as long as you sell them out and sell drinks. Period. You could be average and sell them out, and I could kill every time, get standing ovations, but if I only fill up half the room, you can come back anytime you want, and I might come back once every 2 years.
Well, a question I had for you is, because you've been doing comedy, I mean, you started in Comedy Bloom, right?
In 1986 when I was 15.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is true, but there's a rumor that you used to tour with Richard Pryor.
I did, yeah.
How was that like?
Well, I didn't actually tour with him. He would let me open for him when he did shows in LA, and then it was incredible. I mean, I'll just stop right there. Like, first time I met him, I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
I knew he had MS, and I kept hearing all these people were going to go visit
MS,
him.
for the folks at home, is...
multiple sclerosis.
Okay.
So he had MS, and it was getting pretty bad, and I heard he was in the hospital, and people were going to visit him. And then he got out of the hospital, and he came back to the Comedy Store one night, and that's when I met him with all my friends, and I mentioned that my family is from Illinois, and he's from Illinois, so immediately he liked me. And he took me under his wing, and all of a sudden he's like, yeah, come open for me tonight and do this. And anytime he'd show up, he's like finding me and like pulling me into the room. And I remember this one night, this girl from Illinois who we were sort of like trying to date. She came out from Illinois to come visit me, and Richard brought her into the Comedy Store office and was like, oh, you're from Illinois, blah, blah, blah. They start talking. All of a sudden, he's like, yeah, come with me in my limo. He took off with this girl who's staying at my house, and I never saw her again. Who knows how she got back to Illinois? I'm sure he flew her back or something.
Right.
How crazy, right?
That is crazy. But see, like, that caused a great friendship with you and probably the greatest comedian of all time.
Of all time. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I can't believe I knew him.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. And he died, when I was in my 20s.
Would you say that I mean, I know you have a mom and a dad, but would you say as a comic, would you say Richard Pryor was your dad?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And look, man, I'm not so old school that I can't see that there are so many greats. Bill Burr is a great man. Like, when I watch him, I'm like, God, how does he do that? You know? And I hate to say it, Louis C.K., forget what the man did. It's like Michael Jackson. Forget what he did. The man's brilliant.
Wait, what did Louis C.K. do?
Well, he was part of the Me Too movement as well. He masturbated in front of comedians, including comics I know, and like,
He did?
Yeah, he would take them on the road, say, hey, come up to the room, like, let's do a podcast.
I'm totally fucking with you. I knew that.
Oh, you knew this? Oh, come on, Jesus Christ. I was like, how does he not fucking know?
It's that Asperger's.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. I was like, this motherfucker. I assumed you were fucking with me, but I still said it because I feel, not everyone who listens to these shows knows everything.
Yeah.
Because there's, what did they just say on the news the other day? A third of Americans think you get the coronavirus from drinking Corona.
Oh, did they really say that?
Yes.
Oh.
That's an actual thing. Like 28% is what they said. That's insanity.
I heard that if you shave your beard, you increase your chances of not getting it. Did you hear that one?
No, none of that's.
Yeah.
What the fuck? None of this is
like
real.
when I heard that, I immediately tweeted Ryan Fitzpatrick. I was like, "Don't shave your beard."
I don't know, man. None of these are real. And look, people can take care of their health. My daughter's 16. 17 years ago, when my wife was pregnant, I decided I will never get sick again. How do I do this? I don't know. My dad kept saying, if you touch a doorknob, that's where everyone blows their nose, touches their hands. Now they touch the doorknob. Now you touch it, you wipe your eyes, now you're sick.
Right.
So what I did was anytime I would touch anything foreign outside of my house, besides my car, if I went to the grocery store, open the door, touch the cart, I used sanitizer.
Uh-huh.
In 17 years, I've never been sick again. And I used to get sick, like cough, throat, everything. I've never been sick again.
Wow.
Because I just don't allow myself to take it in.
Yeah.
I don't touch my mouth or my eyes anymore.
Yeah.
Or your nose. If you pick your nose and you have dirty fingers, you just gave yourself a cold.
That's true.
These are all open pores.
But what if you touched a part that, is inappropriate in your own spare time?
Oh, yeah, that's all right.
Like,
a lady part or your own part?
Your own part.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it depends on how dirty your wiener is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
see, I don't even have to wash my hands after I touch my wiener.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, do you think that's how people get, like, dirty wieners?
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, think about this. Let's say you touch the bathroom door, then you touch your wiener, right? If you don't wash your hands, now your wiener has the flu.
I think that's how a lot of, like, STDs probably come in. Like, I'm actually being dead serious. I think that's how a lot of STDs, like, I remember when I was in high school, I saw a picture of some guy's wiener and it had, like, crystals on it.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Because they used to show you pictures of people's.
And like,
they look like a foot, right?
Yeah. So like whenever I have sex, I'm like, oh, I really hope I don't get crystals.
Right.
But
me
you know
too.
what I mean?
Always those scared the shit out of me when they showed you in junior high the pictures of dicks that look like feet.
Yeah.
I was always I still am. Yeah. I still think about it because you brought it up and I knew what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Immediately.
But I think like maybe you get the crystals because you don't wash your germs.
Oh, see, I don't know, man. I'm so clean.
I mean, that's just a theory I have.
I'm really the cleanest human being you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
Like, all day long, I shower probably 3 times a day because I'm a greasy wop. My face gets greasy, so I'm washing my face, my hands, my body, everything. All my body parts all day long. I just like to be clean.
And I think that's another reason why, like, I think I kind of bond with you because we kind of have that same similar path, like with your Richard Pryor story. That was like my story with Norm.
Right. Yeah, Norm Macdonald loves you, right? You guys are buddies?
I mean, we were. I don't know if he loves me right now. I mean,
it doesn't matter. You guys have worked together, and he's a great.
Yeah,
I've worked with him. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, and in my opinion, and this is my opinion, I think Norm's the best of all time. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
And like you worked with Richard Pryor,
sure.
who's the best of all time in you.
Of course. I mean? I'm not going to fight you on that. Yeah. Everyone has their own best, and how is my opinion different or better than yours? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can all, like I think Chris Rock is one of the best of all time. You know?
I mean, he was a good second choice.
Yeah, he is a great second choice. You know what's funny, man? I actually still quote Norm Macdonald. We worked together at Cal State San Bernardino probably 15 years ago or something, but we went out to IHOP afterwards. You and I were just talking about IHOP, surprisingly. We went out to IHOP, and then he was like, I'll pay the bill. So he asked for the bill, and it was like 5 of us or something. I forget who it was.
Did he try to push it on someone else?
No, he didn't. You know what he did, though? The minute it came, he screamed, "What did I do, break a window?" Now I always do that when the bill comes. I'm like, oh, Jesus, did I break a window? What happened?
I went to the Yard House with him, Fred Stoller, and Fred Ward. And we're just talking and stuff. And Norm's like, I'll pay the bill. And the bill comes out, and he just looks at it. He's like, holy Lord. And then he's like, now, Fred, do you remember that once? And he just goes on a whole pageant, right? And then he's like, I got to go, the show starts at 8, Fred, but I'll see you there, right? And then so Fred just genuinely dreams, and then Fred Stoller just looks at me, And look at Fred Walter, I was like, I'm the brokest out of both of you guys. I'm just gonna gently leave. So I don't know who paid the bill. I don't imagine it was Stoller.
How funny, man.
But like, it was like, geez, what? So but that's why like Norm plays those little tricks, and I just can imagine when he was younger, he was way worse.
Oh, Ron Jeremy's the king of getting out of the bill.
Oh, is he?
He'll just say, "What are you eating? Can I have a few bites?"
Yeah.
Or what? I mean, he keeps promising he's going to take me out to dinner, but I've known the man 30 years.
Would you say Ron Jeremy is actually your biggest client?
Sure, because he's the most famous, and I'll say why. He's in his legend status now.
Right.
You know, he's not up and
He's not
coming.
getting a lot of porn movies right now.
He does it right. It's not like he used to. He used to film maybe hundreds a year, and now he films maybe 20 a year.
Right.
And
he always plays the grandpa right now.
Nah, or whatever, or just Ron Jeremy. He's just fucking, I don't know. But I don't book that as very much. The only thing I really do with that is every once in a while he'll be like, can you do this contract? So he'll give me money for that. But I book him for mainstream. Like I just got him on 2020 last month. I get him in movies. I get him on TV shows and TMZ and all those things. And then I make sure he has his live appearances, and he does private parties where some rich agent from LA will pay him to come to San Diego for a bachelor party for $10,000.
Do you do his cameo?
I do.
Oh, we gotta get your a couple other your clients like Keith Reza on Cameo.
Well, let's get you on Cameo.
Let's do it.
I'll get you on Cameo. We can set you up today. I'll have them contact you if you'd like.
Okay, cool. Because I've been trying to get it, and they're like, "How many followers do you have?"
Don't worry, I can get you on there.
I was like, 200.
Well, get more followers.
Yeah. Well, but it's really hard for me because like when I first started, I used to pass out flyers, and then I was like, it wasn't working. You know what I mean? Like, how do you network? Like, what are... Because I have Asperger's, so it's hard for me.
Can I give you a couple tricks?
Yes.
First of all, say your social media in your act.
Okay.
And make sure they're all the same. Don't be Keith Reza comedy, and then comic Keith Reza on another, and...
It's Reza.
Reza. Right. Sorry, Reza.
That's why I'm not getting work. You're booking Keith Reza.
Right, exactly. Reza. Oh, shit. Wait, you're Reza? Or Reza?
Reza.
Oh, shit. I thought you were Keith Reza. I gotta go. I'm supposed to be in this other guy's room. So listen, figure out a trick to do it in your act. Like, I have a part where I had to go through my act and think, how can I add it? And I have a part in my act where I make fun of, and it's not true, my brother's wife. My brother's dead, so it's not even a real joke. But I say my brother's wife is terrible looking. Go through my photos after the show. I'm Dante the comic on all social media. And I say that a few times. But I'm just saying, like, that will... Even just saying it now on your podcast, I'm Dante the comic on all social media. Now people know.
And they're gonna follow you, and they're gonna be like, hey, can you represent me?
They do that.
Do they?
Yeah, and so what I do, thank God, is I don't just do this by myself. I have a real company. So I have a wife that runs the production side. So if people want to get into the festivals or into a movie or something, they should talk to her. If you want to get into my secret comedy club, I now have an employee named Michael Sullivan who I made the booking agent.
Oh, that's awesome.
So he's now the booking agent. He's also in charge of Platinum Artists Entertainment, which is our adult side, because even though we don't really book adult, we have adult entertainers, and it's just easier for them not to be on our website. Does that make sense? So that people don't come there and go, oh, is this a porn website? Because we have Ron Jeremy, we have so many. Air Force Amy from the HBO Cat House show. Who else?
I don't know who that is. I'm assuming she's a porn star.
No, she's a prostitute from...
Oh, even better.
Yeah, from the Cat House TV show on HBO. We have Evan Stone, who's like the second most famous male porn star of all time. Yeah. But again, I book them in regular stuff. Like, I got he and her, Amy and Evan, in a Netflix show where they played parents of Adam... God, what's his name? Workaholics.
Adam Devine.
Yeah, Adam Devine.
I love Adam.
He
went to my school at OCC.
Cool. Yeah, he's a cool dude. I like Adam.
He's a really cool guy. And the thing about Adam, which is weird, is because I remember when you're on the same level of the path, he put in so much work to get to where he is. And I think a lot of people don't know that.
Correct. And, that is one thing. I can always spot who's going to be famous, and they don't, it doesn't always come true, but usually they're on a path.
Right.
Usually they are fire. You know what I mean? They have their 12-minute set that's perfect. They have a 20-minute set that's perfect. Everywhere they go, they're at some comedy festival. You know what I mean? They're auditioning for AGT. they're hustling, they're at every club, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like you're on the rise. Everyone is, doing your shows, and so just keep doing what you're doing. But I think at some point everyone has to go, I need to realize I am the product, and stop just thinking I'll get famous when I get famous. So I just hired a social media guy. And he said to me, he's like, Dante, yes, you've been on this TV show and that TV show and blah, 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 but who's famous to you? And I named a couple people. He's like, why are they famous? I said, I don't know. And I flipped through
Who were the people you named?
God, I don't know. Burr, Pryor. He was like, who do you see a lot on your phone and TV?
Oh, okay.
I was like, Burr, Pryor. I named a couple models. And he's like, yeah, because they make videos every day.
Right.
He's like, I looked at your stuff. All you do is post pictures.
And that is probably why you're doing the stand-up.
Correct.
Thing.
So now I do one stand-up tip for comedians every day. Twice a week I do happiness videos about being like, I think I'm the happiest man alive, because I don't let anything bother me.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but
yeah.
These tips, do you do these tips as a comic or as tips as a manager?
Because
I do them
as
two
both.
different things.
Well, so I give them as just Dante the comic, who is also a manager, and so I give perspective on both. I'll say, as a comic, I want to do this, but as a manager, I have to know that this is not appropriate. Or, you know what I mean? Like, here's a good example. I will say, the one I did today, what was that one about? I basically taught people joke stealing and what to do. Because not everyone's a joke thief. I said that there's common jokes. There are. I mean, the one that, sadly, I talked about in this thing today is that Carlos Mencia, who we all know has stolen jokes, he's even admitted it.
Right.
But when they called him out on that famous Joe Rogan video for stealing Ari's joke, it was a common joke. It was a joke we could all write.
Right.
Do you remember the joke?
It was something about like walls.
Right. We're sending everybody back to Mexico. Who's going to build the wall?
Right.
Come on. If I said that to 100 comics, if we're sending all the Mexicans back to Mexico, write a joke about a wall. Yeah. Half of them would write it.
But it's kind of like, oh, no wonder Trump's a joke thief too.
Right. Right. But do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He deserved to be called out for it. But what I was teaching in this video is not everyone's a joke thief.
There's a time and place, I think, to do it.
And also, don't do it on common jokes. I've heard so many comics go, that guy on the Tonight Show stole my joke, or Jay Leno, or this guy or that guy took my joke. I'm like, no, they didn't. Yeah. It's a common joke, dude. I wrote that joke too. So did 50 other people. Watch Twitter. I promise you'll search it. You'll find it.
I've seen, I don't know if you've ever had this happen to you, because you've been doing comedy forever. So
forever.
I'm sure the chances of it happening to you has happened. But me, I've only been doing it for 16 years, and I've seen comics steal from me. But at the same point, like, I don't get mad, because it's like, one, I would say 90% of my act is talking about Asperger's.
Mm-hmm.
So if you steal one of my jokes, it's not real to your personality.
Correct.
So I don't get offended by it. I think, you're not talented enough.
Correct. And yours are very specific to you.
Right.
That's why it might be harder for you to write a joke for you rather than being a joke writer for someone else, because it has to be very specific to you.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is I don't really get hurt about it, because it's like, whatever. You did it because it's a low fruit to you and you need a laugh. You, on the other hand, you don't have Asperger's. I think you might have ADHD or something. Not sure. But assuming. Don't drop me after this podcast.
I won't, buddy. You can say anything you want. He asked me if he was like, is there anything I can't ask you? I was like, dude, my parents are dead. Ask me anything you want. I have nothing to hide from anyone.
Is there anything I can't ask you that won't make you drop me?
No, but, there isn't. There isn't. I have nothing to hide, dude. I don't lie, as you know. Have I ever lied to you?
No.
I don't lie to anyone. That's like my thing. If Rebecca doesn't lie, that was something when we got together. She would like lie to people on the phone about
Explain
bills.
to the folks who Rebecca is.
Rebecca's my wife. She's also a comedian, and we own the company together, Golden Artists Entertainment.
Right.
And I just, I went through a divorce like 13 years ago, and when I did, I wanted to change my whole life. I felt like I had given my life over to someone that didn't appreciate it, and I basically said, I need 5 things in life. And Rebecca was like 4 of them. I'm like, I want you, but you have to be all 5. And then she became all 5, and we've been great. But
was the 5th one anal?
No, but that is on.
Oh, that's the 6th.
Yeah, that's the 6th, and she's cool with it.
So how does it go for you because I'm sure you've seen comics take your joke, but not like they necessarily meant to.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah, you know
how
what?
do you feel?
Okay, so I can just tell you the two examples. I've only seen it happen a couple of times.
Really?
One guy did it on television. He stole my most famous bit. It's called The Wizard of Oz, where I do all these impressions.
Uh-huh.
I'd already won America's Funniest People and done it on a bunch of TV shows. His name was Rob McNaughty. I'm saying it because I don't even think he does comedy anymore. But I would say it even if he did, because he stole it. But I found out because he took it and put it on Star Search, and everyone called my phone. But this was the 90s, so how could I put him on blast?
Flip phone.
So it was a flip phone or a giant phone.
Right.
But how could I put him on blast back then because there was no internet?
Right.
So the only thing I could do was find him in real life, and I used to box and stuff, and I know karate and all this. The last thing I ever want to do in life is fight. I only did it for exercise. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't want to beat someone up. I mean, why? I think it's the dumbest thing ever to hurt people. But I did want to talk to him and be like, dude, you can't do my material. Why'd you do this? Blah, blah, blah. See what his excuse was. But now I think comics have it easier because you can put everyone on blast. Right now, you can put it on your phone and be like, that dude stole, we were at the same show, he stole my joke, and then let him defend himself.
Yeah.
Or you could just talk to the people. Like, I have a friend, Rudy Moreno, who is not a joke thief at all.
Right.
But I did a joke in his room one time, and it was so long ago. I said something like, you know, this guy was like, I'm big boned. I was like, dude, I've never seen a fat skeleton. And he must have, you know, picked that up, and a couple months later, I saw him do it. And I know he didn't steal it, but he must have just thought he made it up, you know?
Right.
I've been like that before, and I'll tell Rebecca a joke, and she's like, no, Dante, we heard that a couple of nights ago. I'm like, oh, that's where it came from. Fuck.
For the folks at home, Rudy Moreno is considered the godfather of comedy for the Latino comics.
Yes, and he's a great man.
Man.
I am in no way putting him down because he and I have been friends.
I didn't think
forever.
Yeah, I was just explaining to the folks.
But that does happen.
Yeah.
You know, where comics do catch a joke that they think was theirs because it just you hear it in your own head a few days later.
Me and Rudy, we have like a weird relationship. Like, I personally like him. I mean, I feel he doesn't like me, but I feel like I even think you don't like me. You know,
is that true?
At a point, yeah.
No, I love you.
Like, I feel Amy hates me too. Like, I'm like, oh.
No, you need to stop that.
Yeah.
I mean it. I feel like I watch your social media and stuff, and a lot of times I feel like you are.
I do suffer from depression.
Of course.
And
do you take pills?
No.
Why?
Because when I was a kid. It's going to go in serious a little, but when I was a kid, I used to take.
Is this a funny podcast, or can we talk about?
Oh no, it's real. But I took Prozac and Zoloft, and what it did was it totally fucked up my brain when I was a kid.
Okay, because you were a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, your brain was developing.
So, when I was 13, I got diagnosed in 1999 with autism, and when I was 13, I said, you know what, I can't do it. It's not helping me. I'd rather just try and... So I did stand-up comedy. So stand-up comedy
You started at 13?
No.
Oh.
This was like a couple of years. I started when I was 15, but I wasn't good. I was really bad. I was very nonverbal. But so stand-up comedy to me, I feel, is my medicine. Does that make sense?
Of course.
So
but
that's
I
why
need you
I have
to hear
go
something.
Up,
hear this, okay?
Yeah.
I love you.
Oh, thank you.
Amy loves you. Who's an employee of mine if you're listening.
Yeah, I should have probably. Amy's the...
She's a manager.
My manager,
right.
And Dante's
I have like 10 employees.
Yeah.
Or more, whatever. But, yeah, it's all in your head.
Okay.
I don't know one comic who's ever said a bad word about you. And I know
really?
Have
you ever talked to Barry Sobel?
Not about you.
Oh, he hates me.
Well, that's okay. Maybe
We have this is a non-filter, so I don't really have anything to hide. And plus, like, I like to tell stories in case it goes viral. I'll be like, hey, call Dante.
Look, man, not everyone gets along. Everyone has different personalities, and guess what? Some people are going to hate you for different reasons.
Yeah.
I bet some people don't like me because they think I maybe think I'm whatever. Who knows what they think of me?
Right.
I don't think I'm better than anyone or anything like that. I just want to be friends with everybody.
Well, so you're very humble, and that was one of the questions like I wanted to ask. Like, is that a skill that you've always had, or is that because when you decided you wanted to manage comics?
Yeah.
Like, because I'm assuming your managing style and your comedy style is too different.
Yeah. So, if you've never seen me live, I am a full headliner. Like, if you come to my shows, I sell out a week in Vegas, and they're all sold out, and I get standing ovations. And as a manager, I think I'm killing it, you know? I mean, I have 80 really great clients, including a guy named Keith, whose last name, who knows what it is? Who knows? Razors? Keith Razors? I don't know. Anyway. But, yeah, I mean, I think what's different is I try to run this differently than the rest of Hollywood. Hollywood will be like, hey, you're going to be in a movie next week and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I tell my clients, there's a movie. Until I get the paperwork signed, I can't promise you that you're in it.
Right.
You know, we need to get this done. I'm always honest with people. I don't ever want to crush anyone's dreams or break their heart. You know what I mean? Because you're right. I am also a comic. So I've had everything bad happen to me. I've been the whipping boy my whole life. So that's why if I give you a contract to be in a movie, you're going to have one of the most protective contracts because I've been through it with myself, and so has Rebecca. Rebecca has been in tons of movies. If you guys like bad horror movies, look up Rebecca Cochin. She stars in all those Sci-Fi Channel movies. She's in all those Asylum movies.
Right.
You know, what was the point? What was I saying? Why did I bring this up?
I think the point is you're the type of person who you make dreams come true for yourself and your business.
Yes.
Because you've also written movies.
Yes. Oh, what I was going to say about Rebecca. So she was in all those movies, and God, now I lost it again. God damn.
It's that ADHD.
It really is. Oh, so she's been in all these movies, and I do her contracts, and she has been effed over so many times by people. She'll be the star of the movie, and they'll put a different girl.
Oh, that was the 5-minute
That's all right.
warning.
They put a different girl on the poster to look like her because it was like from behind, and we were like flipping out.
Yeah.
Because that's not cool. They had a million great stills of her. Why would they put some other girl on the poster? So now that's in the contract. You may not use another likeness of someone else to reflect me.
Right.
So through trial and error, I now have a contract like that for comics as well. You know, you can't drive me while you're drunk. You can't do this. Or, you know, if the gig, because sometimes bookers screw you over. They will tell you a pay for some town and they say they're flying you, let's say, right? But then you show up and it's a 7-hour more drive to the town.
Yeah.
And no one told you. Had I known that, I wouldn't have taken the gig.
Yeah.
Because whatever he's paying me was worth the flight, but not a 14-round trip.
So technically they didn't lie to you. They just misconceived you.
Right. So in the contract, It now says anything over a 2-hour drive will be compensated $100 per hour on the drive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Baller.
Yeah. So if you are being lied to, or we can negotiate it. Tell me the truth and I'll tell you up front. Right. Otherwise, it's $100 an hour over every 2 hours you drive me.
Yeah. Awesome.
Why not?
Exactly. So, what is your advice for comics that, because like I'll be honest, I feel I'm a good feature. I feel I could be a headliner someday. Like I've headlined shows, but I'm not a headliner. You know what I mean? What is your advice for comics in that level on how to become where you're at?
Okay, my advice to comics is the number one piece of advice anyone will ever give you, and I learned this from Richard Pryor, Sam Kinison, every big comic I ever asked, because I asked them, and maybe you should start asking on this show, what's your best piece of advice? And they all said...
I just did.
No.
Oh.
You said, what is your best piece of advice for becoming a headliner?
Okay, what is your best
piece of advice is have fun.
Have fun.
Have fun. And I don't mean just enjoy being a comic. Have fun on stage.
Okay.
When you go up on stage and you are having the most fun, the audience can't help but have fun with you. They can't. It's like when you're watching Saturday Night Live and it's kind of boring, and then someone starts to break, and then they all start to break, and now they're all having fun, and now you're having fun, and now you're paying attention.
Right.
It's about having fun. That's the best piece of advice I'll ever give you. And most comics don't get it until they get up on stage and actually physically try it, to enjoy every joke they're telling, enjoy the audience, talk to the audience, and have fun. How do you go from being a feature to a headliner? Here's my best piece of advice. Be so good that you knock the headliners out of place.
Ah, that's great advice.
It is.
Yeah.
You know, I told a guy one time, and his name, he owns 3 clubs. Randy Butler, he owns the Hyenas clubs in Texas, and Nick Guerra was opening for me at the time, and I had only had one person get a standing ovation in front of me ever, and it was Rebecca. And then all of a sudden Nick Guerra gets a standing O, and here I am drunk in Dallas like, oh shit, I need to wake up my show right away.
Right.
So every night I had to like bring it because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let him beat me. But at the same time, I walked right into that office. I'm like, this dude's a headliner. Why are you featuring him?
Right.
And sure enough, they made him a headliner, and now he's out in L.A. and he's great.
Yeah, and Nick's one of those guys who's really blown up the past 2 or 3 years.
Oh yeah, he's great, man.
Yeah. Well, hopefully one day that'll be me.
Blow people out of the water.
You know,
That's it. Just
I would love to blow you out of the water.
do it. I want you to. Really, I always tell that to Rebecca. I would love to open for her.
Yeah.
I don't have an ego, man. I don't have. You were right when you said I'm humble. I don't care. We're no different than anyone else. I get that people see all of us as celebrities because we're comics and we do something that most people are afraid to do. But in general, we're all just people trying to get by. All I really want to do is be happy with my family and my friends.
You know, that advice is actually really real because Norm told me something very similar when I first started. He said, I want you to do your best every single show because you're never going to be funnier than me. And I worked with Norm for maybe 300 shows. I think I blew him out of the water twice.
Good.
You know what I mean?
Good.
And I think that advice is tough love, but it's true. When you're working with your hero, you know what I mean? That's how it trains you.
And it is good too because I hate to say it, and I won't name names, but I started in San Diego, and my goal, and one of them is here. Mark Brazil is here. When I started, Mark Brazil he was the biggest comedy headliner in San Diego in the 80s. And now he created that 70s show, and he's a comic and blah, blah, blah. But back then, he was the guy to beat.
Right.
And there were all these other guys along the way that I had to beat. And when I would beat one, I'd go, great, now I'm funnier than that guy. Right. And when I started 2 years ago, he was one of the best. Now I'm funnier than this guy. Now I'm funnier than that guy. And it was just, I worked my way up until I realized I was the funniest in town. And then it's like, okay, now I need to follow Mark Brazil to L.A. and get out. Yeah. That's how you do it. Get your best where you are and then move to L.A. or New York.
I want to respect your time, but we did have 2 Twitter questions from you. We did, and I forgot the Twitter names because my phone died.
Okay, buddy.
But I remember the questions with my Asperger's.
Okay, good. Thank God you have Asperger's.
Yeah. One of the Twitter questions was Dante, because that's how they did it. It said, Dante, does anyone get you and Tom Rhodes confused?
Oh, that's really funny, dude, because I was... Tom Rhodes and I did the Portland Comedy Festival together, and I just did his podcast, and when I was looking at the picture from far away, I didn't remember which side I was on, because we do sort of have that same kind of, dark hair, balding, same age look.
I mean, I didn't say that. The
No, dude, I would actually have to agree. We have a similar look. Yeah, man, we're like the same age, same height, same build, I guess.
And this one I actually do remember today because it's my Twitter question, but I'm hiding. Yeah, but I follow you on social media, and political views I don't like to talk because I think there's 2 sides to every subject.
Sure, of course. I agree with that, even though I post.
Yeah, but I know what side you are, but this is not my Twitter question. I'm hiding from a Twitter question, Dante.
Yes.
Because that's how it started. Dante, are you scared that if Bernie does get elected, John Cusack won't make any more films for 4 years?
Oh, God, I do remember this question.
Because that is the scariest thing in my opinion.
Has he made any movies lately?
No, but John Cusack did say, I don't know this Twitter question very well, but John
said
Cusack,
he would stop.
He will say he'll be an advisor and not make movies.
Then I will vote for Bernie then. Because I
What?
I want him to be an advisor.
No!
Wouldn't that be cool? You get to see him on the news every day. John Cusack. He might even end up being like the press secretary.
I can't live without John Cusack.
Who can? But listen. Bernie needs to be the president, and I'll tell you why. He is...
because John Cusack's washed up?
No, because I love John Cusack. He's not washed up. I would manage him. God
oh
damn.
My God, I love John Cusack.
I would love to meet John Cusack.
He's like that one guy. Like,
he's
I'm not
One
gay.
Crazy Summer.
Oh my God, yeah. Like, I'm not gay, but like, if I would totally sleep with John Cusack. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what I thought you were going to ask? Someone asked me the other day, they said, have you ever heard of Drag Queen Bingo?
No.
All right, so there's this company called Drag Queen Bingo. They're at Hamburger Mary's and all over the place, but it's great. They help charities, and every week they have bingo in West Hollywood. And the guy who runs it is a friend of mine, and he said, Dante, I don't post all the political stuff you do because I run a business.
Right.
He's like, you run a business. Aren't you afraid that it's going to affect your business?
Oh, that's a good question, too.
And he was right.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, I have to look at what I stand by and my own ethics and what I believe in. And I'm not telling anyone who they have to vote for or anything like that. I just bring up points of when I see not just Trump, but any politician or anyone doing the wrong thing.
Right.
You know, my friend Melissa Greenberg, who's a comic, she said at my wedding, she goes, "You guys may not know Dante very well, but the one thing I can tell you about him is all he cares about is right and wrong." And I'd never heard someone say that about me. And it stuck with me. And I think about that every day now. I'm like, oh my God, she's right. That is what bothers me every day, is right and wrong. Why didn't that guy use a blinker? Why is that person being mean to that kid? Why did that woman say that to that guy on TV?
Right.
You know, everything breaks my heart. I feel like I'm serious, like I'm too sensitive for this world sometimes.
And that's actually a great compliment. And like, God damn it!
So you want me out of here, don't you?
No, I want to respect your time because it's 45 minutes. But we'll wrap up right now. But
I enjoy being your manager a lot, and people love you. Please change your attitude about that.
Well, thank you. But that wasn't what I was going to say a compliment about you.
What?
But then you fucked me up with that.
It was about me saying.
Oh yeah, so that I think is one of the most humble things. And, you know, I think that a lot of people don't have that, you know, comic or not. I think that for someone to say something like that, because I see it just when I talk to you, even though I talk to Amy a lot more, there's times where I actually do talk to you.
Of course, we talk.
Like, and it's not necessarily about business, it's about depression and all that stuff. And, like the Barry Sobel thing you talked to me about for about an hour, you know what I mean? And, it's just one of those things where, like, a lot of managers don't have the time to do that, and a lot of comics don't care for the time to do that, but people do have the time for that.
Right.
And
I'll always have the time for my friends.
Yeah, but I don't consider you a friend. I don't consider you a manager. I consider you a brother.
Oh, thanks, man.
So like, I think that's the best compliment I could say about you.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
You know.
We are brothers.
Yeah. And, you know, we'll wrap up, but if you vote for Bernie, you just gotta look at the consequences. Because John Cusack is honestly the best actor of all time, and
you're not wrong, dude.
I don't
Crazy
know.
Summer. Okay.
Oh my God.
Keep going.
Identity. Runaway Jury.
Keep going.
Say Anything.
Say Anything's one of the best.
The Jack Bull. Can I tell a John Cusack story and then we'll wrap up?
Yeah.
Okay, so I went to go see John Cusack live, and what he does is actually very smart. He plays one of his movies, makes all this money, right?
How cool.
Yeah.
And he gives a talk or something?
He does a Q&A, right? Which we gotta get me in a movie so I could stop the stand-up shit and just do that.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. And he takes Q&As from Twitters and all that stuff, and I like overtweet him, so all my questions got asked. And then this lady asked him, and he's doing a Q&A. He's really calm and cool. So lady's like, "John, I'm your biggest fan of all time, and I have one question that I just can't wrap my head around." And this is like at the Fox Theater, 4,000 people sold out.
Oh my God.
And he's sitting down all calm and cool, you know, wearing his black stuff. And she's like, "How come on every single phone and every single movie you do, you have a phone scene where you just yap on the phone?" And John looks at her and he's like, "That's certainly not true." She's like, "No, it is. I'm your biggest fan. I've seen all your movies, and it's true." And the audience is like really quiet. He just looks at her. He's like, "Oh, did you ever see the Jack Bull? It's a Western."
I love it.
And the whole crowd just went nuts. It was like the funniest joke. So I think John Cusack can be a stand-up too. You know, just
sure.
So that's the consequence if Bernie wins. No John Cusack for years.
Well, that's all right. That's okay. Vote for Bernie.
I don't know if I could handle watching the Jack Bull for 4 years. Dante, where can the folks at home follow you, pal?
They can follow me at Dante the Comic on all social media. My company is Golden Artists Entertainment, and on social media it's Golden Artists LA, and that's artists plural with the S. And that's probably it.
All right, and then for one more time, just like if they want to hire you for business or your clients, where are your top 3 best clients?
Keith, Reza.
Okay.
And that's it.
Oh.
I don't really have other clients, man. We're focusing all our attention on you.
Oh, so, awesome. Fuck, I thought you were gonna fall for it 3 times in a row.
Not this time, buddy.
Dante, I love you very much, pal.
You too, buddy.
Thank you so much. All right, guys. If you like the show, subscribe, rate, and review.
Comment, follow.
Comment, yeah.
And follow me on YouTube, you guys. Golden Artist Entertainment.
And that too. All right, guys. Reza out.
Lovely.
You're listening to Reza Riffs with Keith Reza and Alan Lee, right here on LA Talk Radio.